guys, Ginger Cook here. It's a happy painting Monday, and what we're going to be doing with acrylic paint is we're going to be doing sort of a close-up, sort of a vignette, so to speak, of some very pretty pink mums. And I'm excited to show you maybe something you hadn't thought about. We're also going to talk a little bit about how to pick the right color for a frame, something you might want to know. We got some secrets. Someone's watching the live show as it airs. If you enter, you have an opportunity to win the painting I'm doing tonight. Plus, wait for this, we have the opportunity to win a set of the Salvador paints, 25 colors plus brushes and so forth. That's given away by the Salvador Paint Company to one of our lucky viewers who is watching the live show. So it never hurts to set your little alarm bell and watch the live show. We're going to tell you more in just a sec.
Ginger Cook, the queen of color, with a blazing brush at the speed of light, and a blank canvas, and a hearty yes and yes. The queen of color, Ginger Cook, and her sidekick, John Little, teach you to paint with acrylics. Well, Ginger, another exciting Monday.
I know, John, and here you can see I've got a little black and white picture of what we're going to be painting. We're going to paint on a bright pink canvas.
I like the bright pink canvas.
You know, and someone says, how did you get anything that bright? You could use magenta and white. It's hard to get this color, this sort of Pepto-Bismol pink. This is a hard color to get. I highly suggest the Holbein Luminous Rose for that.
And I believe that's what we used for that one.
That is probably your brightest color that I've ever seen, and it's really lovely. And, you know, they're made in Japan. And, you know, so I don't know where in the world you can get them. I don't know if they're...
well, wait. You said they're made in Japan. I don't know where in the world I can get them. I would say Japan.
Yeah, but if you didn't live in Japan or the United States, I'm not sure where they're available. So you'll have to find out. But that's what we're going to be doing.
Well, I've been using golden for them. I mean, not golden.
Yeah, but you could use a magenta. You know, magenta is also a color you can use in white. For instance, we want
just
titanium white. Just something.
A pink.
It's a painting. We're just going to have fun with color. Everybody says I'm the queen of color, but remember, red is a complementary color, and
wait a minute, wait. Red is a complementary color?
No, red is a primary color. Sorry, and so red is a primary color. Green is the complement to it, but because you can't really mix complementary colors, you can't. A lot of times, your yellows, your reds, your blues, there'll be certain companies that will make certain tones of that really are almost impossible to mix because of the way they do the pigment. I guess that would be the best way to explain it. Yes and yes?
Yes and yes.
So that's basically what I mean by that. All right, just if that's helpful. I'm going to get a little purple. We want a little purple here. It's always fun. And so listen, let's give a shout out to our mods who are faithfully here on a Monday, just disrupted whatever they were doing to come hang out with us, and we want to thank them. Who's here, John?
I know Lady Liz is for sure, and Luann is. I understand that Tonya is missing in action, and Judy is going to pop in and out if she is popped in yet.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, Judy's running around in there somewhere.
So those of you who have been sort of feeling the confinement of the last few months, and many of us are still staying home, even though the quarantine's been lifted somewhat in many states. I think a lot of us are still just hanging out home. So let's just have a solidarity fist bump up here, you guys. Bump. Right?
Oh,
we're all together.
Here we go.
Bump,
ready?
Bump. Woo, woo.
Woo-hoo.
Woo, 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 woo. Fist bump to all everybody.
You.
We may not be able to hang out in person, but we can all pretend that it's great, right? And you know what I don't have underneath here is a paper of any kind, John.
Wait, may I get you one, my queen?
Well, look, I found these. Maybe I can use this.
Do you have anything there?
I got this. I can use that. That's nice.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Now, these are, someone's asked us, where do you get this canvas? This is the Paramount canvas. This is real canvas. This is not paper. When you attempt to paint acrylic styles, these oil painting style paintings that we do, on paper, the paper wicks and absorbed. You get a different result. You may like the result you get, but you will not get the exact same result. You really can't. Unless you were to take some varnish, Liquitex gloss medium varnish, and varnish the paper first and let it dry, and then you'd get something similar. Okay? Just a little side note.
First.
We like to, yeah. If you don't, you're going to have a different result, and then you're going to think, well, what's wrong with me? Or maybe it's my brushes. You know, that could be your brushes too. But that's something to think about. Now, you'll notice in this
I really don't like that color.
We've got the light. Okay, John's going to get me a better color. Yeah, good. He's going to go find a better color. While he's doing that, so the light's kind of coming here. Okay. This is the darkest side of these flowers underneath. This one's looking backwards at us. This one's, I want you to see the shape of these. Okay, can you see that? This is the base, like a fan. Can you see the shape now if I'm putting it in? Like a fan. This is the dark section right here. Yes and yes. And we're suggesting a flower back here. So that's this is a very, very simple picture. But I think it'll be really pretty when it's done, and not particularly difficult to do. But just because it's easy, don't discount it as not being awesome.
Challenging.
Because it still could be real fun to do. And I'm just going to go ahead and use this. If this is this is the halfway mark of my canvas. This is my first fan shaped. I think I'll get a different. Can't really see on that light color on. Here, maybe I have a darker, maybe I got a red or something I can use. Here, let's see. Here's a red piece of chalk. I think I can grab that. Someone says, these are real chalk pencils. These are by Garibaldi or something, or who are these by?
Giovanni.
These are chalk pencils. This is a new pastel chalk pencil. Okay, so I'm just going to do this so you can kind of see it, right? And if we're saying that our stuff is coming up kind of like this. I'm going to bring this one on the side out a little further than the photo because I don't want the paint just on half of my picture. So I'm going to, even though the photo's there, we're going to make a few adjustments. Here's this one.
Because as an artist, the photos aren't always right.
Yeah, the photos aren't always right, and they're stuck with whatever they're doing. Okay, so here's the back of this flower. We've got one down here. And we've got one over here, okay? And this is about the halfway mark. So you see, we just sort of did a like a fan shape. Does that make sense to you? And this is the same thing. This is kind of an oval that's coming up like this, coming back like that. Try to get the shapes. When you're doing stuff like this, make an effort to get the shapes first. Lay it out. So that, lay out your picture and just generally kind of get an idea of what you think. Now, the reason we started out, let me just show you kind of what we're going for. Shall I show them? No, maybe not. I'm not going to show you. This is all you're going to get from that. It'll be a secret. Let's keep it quiet. Those who are watching this later will know, but you'll have the benefit of how much surprises do we really get that are sort of fun. Let's just keep it surprising.
I think we should have surprises.
I think we need a few more surprises in life.
Hey, here's a question I think you're going to answer. Deborah's asking, Ginger, how do you diffuse a background to make it appear blurred and indistinct? We have the first things you've got to do to diffuse a background. That's a great question. And what you want to remember is that the farther things are away from you, the grayer the colors get. And the softer, they gray out. Mountains turn blue or purple. Yellows, bright yellows are never in the background. You can have a yellow, but it will never be very bright. And they just gray out. Now, what I want you to do, and you'll remember this, is next time you're out driving around the countryside, notice what happens to the colors the farther they get away from you. Make a mental note of that, because words don't teach. As many words as I offer, and observation will teach you, doing will teach you. You can write this stuff down to try to remember, but then, that being said, you want to gray the colors. And so if I want to gray a color, how am I going to do it? Don't all shout at once. We cleaned up in here, so now I know where nothing is. Whoa, that was your section you cleaned.
Yeah, but does it really matter who cleaned? I mean, are we making names? Are we calling?
Well, I figured if you did it, you would know where. That's why I didn't do it.
Well, then I don't have a color wheel. I had like 5. Well, you'll just have to imagine there's a color wheel, and the opposite on the color wheel is what grays the color. So red grays green, And you're not, a 50-50, you get kind of a mud color, okay? So that's kind of what you're saying. Now, one of the reasons I did a light background color on these flowers, all right? One of the reasons is because they're going to be a very bright color, and they're going to be in these bright tones, and if I did it, I would have had to paint them all white then, which I don't want to have to do. So this will be kind of better. Does that make sense? All right, so John's still looking for the color wheels.
I don't know what you do with them all.
Well, it sounds like apparently I did something with them. I don't have any memory of doing anything with them. I can't imagine scurrying around the house and hiding color wheels. I don't think that's what I do.
I believe you did.
But somebody was picking up in here for 3 days, and it's much more likely that John just accidentally moved them. I'm just saying. Oh, he's found some. Well, he didn't accidentally move them, but he could have. It could have been John.
I could have done it.
Could have done it.
If I thought about it, I would have done it.
When in doubt, blame. That's you take that to the bank. When in doubt, blame, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so here's a color wheel. Here's the color red, and you'll notice that green is right opposite red, and that's how you know it. So this is like your cheat sheet. You don't have to remember it. Have one of these.
But you have to know where it is.
Well, finding it is helpful. Now, where's those ones that we got, Ron? Did you put those in there? Where's that one? Remember we got those in the mail? They're hanging up there. Should I show those?
Might as well.
Look,
I mean,
this was so cool. This isn't going to take long to do, so we're going to drag this out of it. You guys, one of our viewers showed me these. This is a lanyard, and these are just your grayscale and a plastic card with, for instance, if you were out there traveling, here's a little grid, and then here's a color wheel.
It's the same on both sides.
And they're all, unlike this, which is cardboard, and these, which are cardboard, and can, get in parallel. I love this. You can, for instance, you can take this over here, and you can say, okay, so why would I want to know this? Why I'm looking for, say, this gray. Well, it's right here. Do you see that? It's right here. Maybe it's a little darker. Let's see. So this, you move it around, and you say, okay, so is it closer to this gray?
No, no, wrong way.
So wrong way. See, so that's how you use it. You can use these the same way. All right, and I'd say this is probably the closest right here. Now, why do you care about that? Okay, so we're going to talk about this again because I think people forget this, and one of the advantages that you can use with a grayscale, it's called a grayscale. One of the reasons you can use it is if you're mixing any color where it shows up on this light side of the grayscale, it means that the 98 or 99% of the base color will either be white or yellow. And if it's on this side, it will be the darker of the colors. If it's green, it will be blue, will be your base color, if it's on this side of the grayscale. So keep that in mind when you're mixing colors, and it'll save you hours of just trying to mix the color. Yes and yes. All right. So anyway. Do we have these in our Amazon store now, John? I think we do. Right?
That's a big negatory there, boss. I haven't gotten that far.
Oh, John, did you see this? There's even a ruler.
Yes, I did see that.
Look at that. I missed that. That's cool. How?
I even read the directions of how the whole thing works.
Did you? I didn't.
No,
but I like
not.
the idea of it. Don't you guys? I just like stuff. I like stuff. Don't you think that's clever? Anyway, we like stuff. Okay. So I'm gonna work on the background a little bit. Take kind of a stiff brush and just gonna hold it like that, and I want sort of a dark color. So I think I'm gonna take a little bit of dark and this sort of burgundy color, a little bit of purple and burgundy. I'm going to come along like this. Maybe I'll just paint this in here. I want the sides to be a little bit darker. So I've got a little trick here I'm going to do. I'm going to come around here and paint this darker.
What color is that?
This is just purple and a little burgundy.
That's what it looks like.
I want it just to, and keep this all in kind of, the similar tones, right?
In the reds.
Kind of keep it in the reds.
In the warm tone, as it were.
So I'm going to keep that. Now, let's see, I think I did not put out, and I meant to, is zinc white. I'll put that over. Zinc is a transparent white, that's why you want it. So let's take out a little bit of this light pink color and zinc white. Come over here and do this. Now I'm going to just use the side of my brush like this, and I'm going to blend this in. See how I'm kind of blending that? So it's getting a little lighter toward my flowers. See there? I'm going to wipe this off and just go into zinc white and the pink color. I'm going to come in here, let's see, a little bit more white, titanium maybe. Get a little bit more white here, and I'm going to kind of come around where my flowers are. And I want this sort of pretty background. And this is pretty easy to do. A little bit more white on the brush. Let's say this is very light around the flowers. Let's put a little bit more pink with that. So that kind of, you could do a little magenta with that, or red and white. Now, you wouldn't have to do these colors. You could go for a different color background. But then I would change how we're going to paint the flowers too. If you change the background, and this may not be your color scheme, and I understand that. For instance, sometimes we'll paint pictures, and it's really not your the colors that you might personally choose to use. But don't let that deter you from trying it, because you'd be amazed at what you might discover about yourself and your art doing that. And you know that maybe you actually didn't realize you liked those colors till you painted them. Your senses, we all see colors differently, and colors are cultural too. If you live in a place like Florida, where the sun is really warm, there's a tendency to gravitate toward these warm, sunny colors. And if you live up north, in places where it snows and it's wintry, there tends to be more, the paintings and the art sometimes tends to be darker. And so climates that are very, very hot and bright, the population, regardless of, when I say culture, I really mean it's really kind of climaty, where you live. A lot of it will depend on, where you're living. Does that make sense? As to what you feel like it. And then the time of year, too. The time of year, like for instance, if it's not fall, a lot of people are not into painting fall colors, right? Because it's not fall right now. Does that make sense? But come fall, and you start seeing it around you, you might want to start bringing that in. So sometimes think about it. When you're gravitating toward a painting, ask yourself, why do I like the colors in that picture? What is it about that picture that really speaks to me? That's a good thing to ask, isn't it? See, I'm just kind of close in here like that, and I'm going to get a little bit darker when it comes to
Julie
these.
would like to know, has Ginger ever lost interest in painting during her artistic career?
I had a time in my life when Cinnamon was about 15, 16, and her dad and I were getting divorced, and I was working 7 days a week just to feed us. And I did lose interest in painting at that time, because it's very hard to go from creative to work. And I was working sometimes 7 days a week, and so I did then.
A regular job, not your painting job.
Yeah, I was actually selling cars. I was selling cars, and back then there were no women car salesmen, and now you don't think anything about it, but man, I was one of the pioneers, you guys. And I remember comments like, gosh, I wonder if anybody else will show up, referring to females, right? And it really galled the guys, because I had more cars out than they did. And because basically what they didn't understand about women car salesmen is we get shopping.
You understand?
We absolutely get shopping. I mean, how many times have you gone shopping with a girlfriend and I don't know if I should get that hat, and you go, oh, you should get it, it's really you. Now you're being sincere because it probably looks like them. You don't know what their budget is. You really shouldn't be saying anything like that, but we do, right? And a lot of people can't buy anything unless their girlfriends, that their entourage of shopping companions suggests it,
Gives them the thumbs up.
Gives them the thumbs up, and they got the A-OK to buy it, right?
Hey, Beth would like to know, when do you know to mix white into a color as opposed to mixing white into the color?
Well, this is a personal artistic decision.
Oh, wait, I didn't ask that right.
Okay.
When do you know to mix white into a color as opposed to mixing the color into the white?
Well, I just told you with the grayscale. If the color is going to be 98% white, then you're going to start with white and put the color in.
Yeah, if on that side of the grayscale.
Yeah, but if it's on the other side of the grayscale, you're going to start with the darker color.
Yep.
And barely put any of the light color in.
And then now I'll ask the question, how do you know you should be using the titanium full-bodied white versus mixing white?
Well, again, if you were to talk to, for instance, my friend Daniel, okay, if you were to talk to him, he prefers you use like an antique white first and only go for the zinc white at the the titanium at the very end. Or some people, if you use, for instance, if you use like zinc white, it will lighten the color. It won't turn it chalky. Does that make sense? So I think it's just you should just play with it. Kind of know your colors. Know what happens when you do one. That's part of being, that's part of what's going to be really helpful is knowing that. Now see, I don't want any outlines here, so I'm just using the side of my brush and just blending this dark up into here like that. And I can put more back, but I've got this sort of light vignette around the flowers. And before I lighten it up anymore, I'll have to dry it. So let me just put this here for a minute. I'm going to show you guys some stuff. Last week, as you recall, on Thursday, I don't have the frame for it, but last week on Thursday this is what our painting was. If you guys remember, I did this, it was the golf course in California.
Do you remember which one and what
this
hole?
was the 7th hole at Pebble Beach.
Oh, look at you golfer, you.
All right, and this was, if you missed this video, this was I did this because I thought Father's Day is coming up this Sunday. Somebody might want to paint that. This is really pretty. But some of our viewers said, gosh, this is great, Ginger. I wish the Wave and Water Masterclass had this picture. And we agreed. John and I agreed. And we thought that because we got a little behind on Wave and Water, we're probably going to release 3 this month, Wave and Water. Normally we do once a month. So I want you to see, this is 12 by 24. John's going to back out. I want you to see our Wave and Water. This is a different painting, a different photograph completely. The reference photo from a little slightly different angle. Can I move it out like that? Can you see it like that pretty well?
If you quit moving it.
Okay, all right. So as you can see, here's the little tiny flag, and we've got this, the ocean with the waves, the greenery, and so forth. This is the 7th hole at Pebble Beach, and 12 by 24, and new Wave and Water release. John feels like we probably will have this out by the weekend.
Yep.
Next weekend. But I wanted you guys to, if you had to order a canvas, this was what we're going to be releasing for Wave and Water. Besides the trout. The trout's already been released.
Yep.
And now we're releasing that one. I just wanted to share that with you. A lot of times people think we just paint flowers. Ain't so, right? Okay.
We like flowers, but we like to do these too.
Yeah. So let's just put this, and someone won this, so I'll put that away very carefully.
Thank you.
And let's see, is this dry enough? It's still, I'm just going to hit this with the hair dryer for just a second.
All right, go right ahead. All right, while she's drying that, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us this evening. If you have not had a chance to hit that thumbs up, take a moment, hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it, and YouTube might even mention us a little bit more often. Also, if you have not subscribed, take a moment, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell. That way you know when we go live. I even get a notification 30 minutes before we go live. I don't know if anybody else does, but I do.
Okay.
And you're back.
All right, so I'm back. So again, I just dried this a little bit more, so I'm going to I want this a little lighter around this is layer 2 of our color here. I want something a little bit lighter here around here. Just a little bit lighter. So I'm going to just do another layer using just the flat of my brush, and then very gently, barely touching this, kind of giving this little, here's some zinc white in that pink, and I'll show you the difference. It's a little bit, see, it's a little bit pinker. Do you see that? When I do that, it's a little bit, didn't lighten it up quite so much, the zinc white.
Just a touch.
And if you add a little bit of titanium and lighten up just a bit more. And again, I'm doing this because I want these flowers to show up, and I want it to be sort of the feeling of a vignette. A vignette really is where kind of everything's circled around the picture. You know, we just sort of, you sort of encompassed it in color, in kind of a dark color. It's a good way. Sometimes you'll see photographs or vignettes of people, and it's all kind of dark around except for the person. You know, then I think that's a good explanation for a vignette, don't you think, John?
I think it's perfect.
Okay.
Hey, we'd like to thank Diane for the donation that came in through the PayPal system. Thank you, Miss Diane.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. We really appreciate it. We absolutely appreciate it. Thank you very, very much.
Last week, the question in our little forum was, what do you want to get from your painting activity? Do you want to sell it? Do you want to get better? Do you just do it for fun? Etc.
What people say, John?
Well, you'd be interested.
I think I am. That's why I asked you.
12% want to sell. 39% just do it for fun. And 80% want to get better.
Okay.
So today's question is related to those that want to learn more.
All right. So I want to talk about that for a minute, you guys, because if you're painting something just for fun, if painting gives you joy, oftentimes when you turn it into a business, all the joy just deflates like someone punching a hole in your little balloon.
It drains it right out.
If this is your hobby, and it's good to get better and improve your hobby, and it's exciting to do that, right? But if you get, and I understand sometimes that, in my life, I felt I needed to sell the artwork in order to, sometimes to keep a roof over my head, right, kind of thing. So I had to get down into the business of selling. But I noticed that a lot of people, that took the fun out of it. And the other thing that can take the fun out of it is, even if you're doing it just for fun, you want to paint flowers, but somebody decides that it would be just nifty keen if you were to then paint these ice skates that they've had, that their grandmother had, and they've got this photo, and you've never painted an ice skate in your life, but you're an artist, you should paint this for me, right? And so then, it's somebody in the family that's got, maybe you owe a favor to, or you just really don't, for whatever reason, it can't turn down, and so you start that. And then you discover how unfun that was. So think about that for a minute. Or if you're being paid to something, you take a job and your heart wasn't in it. So whatever it is you're painting, love it. I would suggest, and I'm not being, well, let me just put it this way. I would suggest you watch every one of the videos that I have, whether you want to paint them or not, because you're going to learn so much in those videos. Even if you don't give a rip about flowers or a rip about this or that, watch the videos because you're going to learn a lot. But paint what gives you joy.
There you go.
Paint what gives you joy. I can't say that enough. People say, well, when do you paint for yourself? Listen, I'm not painting anything that doesn't make me happy.
That golf course, that was for herself.
I love that golf course. That was just really fun.
And the one we did before that was for herself.
Yeah, I like that stuff, right? All right, so that's my, not to get too speechy, but that was my speechy.
Not too preachy?
Too preachy, speechy. All right. So I'm going to start with...
Hey, we'd like to thank Alan for the donation through the Super Chat with his little cartoon character thumbs up guy.
Oh, Alan, that's so nice. I'm going to take a little bit of this...
I'd like to hear about the puzzle if you missed it. You haven't missed it yet. I'd like to do that a little bit later into the show when we're about halfway through the show. And, we're almost there.
We're almost there. We're going to take a little bit of the...
We'll let the boss talk a little bit first.
This brush here... I think we're going to have to do this a little differently now that I'm seeing this flower. And I'll tell you why. Let me just show you the flower. Let me show you why. It's the light on top, so I think we're going to have to, because your flowers, you have a tendency to want to layer. So I'm going to just take a little bit of white like this, and I'm going to put out the white tips around the edge of this flower. And these are one of these little pointy brushes that come with little...
the Salvador kits.
The Salvador kits. And I really like these. They're really nice. I think they're great. I really, really like them. I want just a little bit of a light tip there, okay, like that on that flower. And then I'm going to put a little bit of yellow and magenta. Put a little white with it. I want some bright colors Yeah, let's try a little bit of red and white. Here we go. I want to start layering the colors. A little bit of red. Let's see, this is a little, what is that? A little bit of magenta. Let's try that color with some white. And, no, I feel like Goldilocks. Nope, 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 nope. I think I'm just going to stick with the Holbein pink for me. I'm going to just come up here like this. And going to layer this flower on. These are little short brush strokes, like so. And got to let that dry. All right. Now we'll come up and we'll do this one too. I'm going to just start with the lighter color on top. Say here's my light color. Remember, I'm doing kind of a fan shape, so I'm going to start with those. And just, you can just push and lift up. One of the things you can push and lift up or you can pull down. Depending on if you don't push very hard, then you can pull towards you, or you can lift, you can push and lift up. Whatever is easier. It depends on the brush you're using too. What works best. Try both. Here's I'm pulling and lifting up, and that gives me these little tips, right? And I think the one thing I will say about the Holbein is you go through it really quick. Goes through paint very fast. At least I do. All right. So here's my next layer of pink coming up this way on this flower, kind of, because you got to layer it like shingles on a house. I would say that's the way to do it. These aren't particularly difficult flowers to paint, but I want a little bit of a dark purple in here now, and then we'll put some other. So I'm starting here with a darker purple like this. A little bit of purple and red here. Okay, then I'm going to put a little of this color up on the base of this one. And I have to, in this case, since I've got some light color, I have to start here and lift up. Because if I come down, I'll drag the dark with me. Does that make sense? So I'm going to do that. Okay. Now that has to dry. All right, let's do another one. Let's see, I can do one over here, because that's sort of all, this one down here is all sort of fuzzed out. So I'm just going to suggest I've got a flower down in this area. In this case, since I've got some light color, I have to start here. Here we go. What are you doing over there, John?
Well, somebody can't get their Kindle to work.
Their what?
Their Kindle.
Well,
the chat. And since we don't do this very often, I went to get my Kindle to see where the chat is.
Okay, so I'm just saying that there's a flower down in here that we're really not talking about that much. And it comes down into the base of this, and it started coming out. Here's the base of it like this. It's coming out this way. And I want something a little darker here. I think I'm going to get a little blue out. I want a little darker red, and I think if I put blue and red together, that will give me the red I want. So let's try that. Sometimes with the Salvador, you can just get the color you want, but in this case, I think there you go. See how I got that a little bit darker, adding a little bit of blue? So with this little flower down here, all by itself, kind of tucked in the corner, and, ooh.
E. Henderson would like me to let you know that she watches you while on dialysis. It makes her day better.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad it does. I'm sorry you're on dialysis, but I wish you great health and that's great success with that. I'll tell you that just if you haven't had a chance to just go back some of these old videos, even though the quality, back when we started with our $250 camera, somebody the other day wrote and said, this quality of this video was terrible. Well, it is compared to what we're doing now, but at the time that's what we had, and we put them up on YouTube, and we took a lot of them down, but we did put a lot of them up too. And You
There's
gotta,
still good information in there.
the information is there, whether, you know, and if you could judge, I promise you that you will get a lot out of these. Does that make sense? If you
Just watch.
just watch them, you know, because I mean, and I repeat stuff over and over again because people, I got in the habit of doing that because when I was teaching art lessons in person, I would repeat stuff to somebody who'd been taking lessons from me years, maybe 5, 6 years. They still didn't remember stuff. I don't know. I think maybe writing stuff down is helpful. What do you guys think? But you'll see me repeat stuff a lot for that very reason. Now this flower is definitely looking away from us. We're seeing the back end of it. Like that. It's the back end of that flower. And any other questions, John?
Not that I'm seeing right now.
So this one here, I want to just get a little of this color right here. Just come in here like this. And just blend this all out into our background. Because we're just going to, this kind of I think this is maybe a different way than you've seen me paint something. Yes?
Yeah, I haven't seen you do it this way.
No, I don't think so either. Now, the other way, if you don't have one of these little pointy brushes, the other thing you can do is this. Just use a bright brush and straight at an angle like this. And you can just by pushing the brush, just touching it, tapping it, you can do pretty well just doing that. By the way, just thought I'd mention that. Okay? So, I have to, because of the way these are sitting on top of each other, I have to dry them as I go. It's like this little bit has to dry before I can do the next thing, okay? So I'm going to dry this and keep going, yeah?
Alrighty. Alright, as she's drying that, I'm looking at the Kindle situation. If you use the YouTube, I have a YouTube.com app, there is no chat feature in that on a Kindle device that I've been able to find. The feature just is not there. And we'll bring it back. So we'll give you a little bit of a puzzle update. Puzzle coming along nicely. We've got a few people that still need to billy up to the bar, as it were, get to their easels and get them done. But we should hopefully have everybody, I'm hoping by the weekend. And the next method we're going to do is I'm going to send out a notification that you have been moved into a village, and you have 3 days to respond if you want to participate.
That's for the next puzzle, not this one.
Yep, that's for the next puzzle. That's how we're going to do the next one. And
Well, that was
when you
what the
reply,
audience suggested it, right? The audience suggested we do it that way.
Yeah, well, it came up that way, yeah. And then I will reply with your puzzle piece. If I don't hear from you in 3 days, you get kicked out and you get moved to the next village. You get one more shot at it, then you'd be removed from the list and you'd have to rejoin, get back in the queue, because we have a lot of people that want to participate.
We're not trying to be mean. That's just
No, we're trying to
everybody
get more of
wants to
these
get
done.
these puzzles done.
We got tons that we want to do, and like I said, we got like 500 people that are wanting to play. So.
Okay, right. But people want to play. Absolutely, people want to play.
So that's how we're going to try it for the third one. You know, second one was better than the first one. Third one I think that will be the best way to do that.
And I'm using just a little bright brush.
You can always sign up for another puzzle piece. Let's go put your name into the list again.
But if you don't want to do it and you've been given a puzzle, let John know.
You let me know right away.
It's okay if you don't.
One person just tell me, oh, I can't do it.
This is free to do. We're not making, there's no money being made on this. It was just sort of something we did during the quarantine to make people, to just make it fun, right? This is supposed to be fun. If it's not fun, don't do it.
And now I did release the monthly photo challenge, which is totally out of everybody's comfort zone. And that's why I did it. Next month you'll get a normal one. But this one, I want you to think outside the box a little bit. Look at it. Look at this little example I gave you where I oversaturated the color so you can see what's really there, and play with it. You can't do it right. You can't do it wrong. You know, what you do is perfect.
What do you mean you can't do it right? How do I interpret that? I'm going to try a little quadrichrome magenta here for this flower. There's some. I'm looking for the right pinks here, and some of you may not have the this one. So let's see what we got here. Let's see if this will work.
Bryn loves their Alba T-shirt. I saw some of the mugs from the Quarantine Quickie mugs. Those look nice.
Well, what was neat about one of those T-shirts?
This stuff is taking forever to get out, though.
Yeah, it's just, well, you know, it's that every YouTube artist uses that company, so they're all getting T-shirts too. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Everybody's using that company. I just need some. I've got another flower coming here, but I wanted to do. I have this is so funny. This is such a fun little painting, John, but it does require lots. It's just one of those things where you got to do it and dry, do it and dry, do it and dry.
Yeah, just because how the layers have to go on.
Yeah, because everything's. I don't think I'll do any more layered ones like this because there's too many layers to do, and I don't want to confuse people. But if you don't have the layers, it won't work. You know, you've got to dry between these layers. All right, let me just dry this real quick so I can do the next one. Okay?
Go. Let me get that discount code for the European or the international people. It's G Cook World 15 for the Salvador paint kit. For the world people that aren't in the U.S. I'm not sure if that would work in Canada. My guess is probably not. Nothing seems to work in Canada. They're in their own little world up there. So the Salvador International, I'll call it International Salvador.
All right, what I'm doing here at the base of this flower is doing the dark green base of it. I'm using a little bit of red and green together to make a very dark green. So it's very dark up here at the base of this flower, right like that. And then it's got some lighter stuff. And as long as I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and do the dark green base on this one. Okay, so on that flower, to the dark green base. And then this flower's got some light green. Let's get a little yellow with that.
You're not using all Holbein today, are you?
This is all Holbein except for, not Holbein. This is just I'm using the Salvador paints except for the
hot pink.
The hot pink, right? So I'm using, yeah, so except for the hot pink. See, and I'm just going in here with a little yellow and, okay. So just put a little bit of yellow there. Now, here's the thing. Red and green are complements. So how does that affect the painting? Well, how it affects it is you can't put wet red or pink over wet green. So if you don't dry as you go, you're going to discover that this is not how you want your painting to come out. So I have to dry this little bit of green now, okay? So I'm sorry there's so much drying, you guys, but, you know, maybe that's the lesson here, right? Is when to dry.
Go for it. That's interesting about Salvador not wanting to sell to Nova Scotia. I don't know why. There are absolutely no rules for the monthly photo challenge. The monthly photo challenge is for our beginner supporters of the beginneracrylicartist.com website and above. Those people can participate in that.
Okay.
It's a fun little challenge. I like that one.
Now, in the reference photo, there's actually 3 flowers here. 1, 2, 3, right there. 1, 2, 3. We're going to just do 2 because it crowds them. It was in the reference photo, and this is one of the things I caution people when they're using reference photos, is to, just because it's in the photo doesn't mean it's a good idea for your painting. The photographer's kind of stuck, yes, with whatever's there. But you're not. How's that? You're not. So we're going to say that this painting is up here. This flower's up here like this. This is the one kind of tucked in here. And going right into the white paint now.
Carol says, Jen, I think I got my husband to grow his hair long like yours.
Really? That's kind of cool. I love John's long hair. It's nice. You know, my thing is that you know, if you've got, you know, some, if you've got nice hair and you've got, you know, you've got the chance to have it long, and there's not some sort of career move where you know, that having long hair would get you fired, why not have it? You know, if it makes you happy, right? Does that make sense? Why not have it? Okay, so now there's that flower. Now this is interesting because we're going to go, we've got a little bit darker in here in the center because the next flower goes on top of this one, so I want to put a little bit of the dark in the center here.
So you can understand why you do a lot of drying in here.
Yeah, see that's because I've got another flower that's going right there, really over this one. And yeah, there's just so many layers, but I love I love these pinks. I guess I love the pinks. But you know, you could do this if you didn't like this pink. This would be gorgeous blue. You could do this in blues, and it would be stunning.
Alan says, thanks for the discount code. In the UK, it works fine. Just place the order.
Really, Ellen, that's awesome.
You're gonna love those paints. I love those paints.
Yeah. Okay. So here's another flower that's got to come this way too. So let's see. Let me just, as long as I'm going to dry it, let's put some more of this nice bright pink here, like that part and this part.
Now remember, if you want an opportunity to win this, make sure you enter. You got to enter it to win it. A chance to win it.
Yeah. Huh. So all right, I'm going to dry that to do the next one. Got to bear with me. I'm sorry. Got to do it, you guys. All right.
That's the way it is. All right. As she continues drying and painting, it's one of those sessions tonight. But you can understand the importance of drying between each layer. Look at the colors she's using. They're complements. If she didn't do that, you would have mud. You'd have muddy flowers. And who wants a bunch of muddy flowers? So to keep it clean, dry between the layers.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to do this middle flower here, and let's get the. I think this is the third time we put this color out. They do not. I mean, the Salvador paints just go and go and go, right? They just little pie like that will last you forever. But here we go. Here's the. We're going to do our next layer, and tip the. Just right into the white paint on. Do you see that? Just on one side of my brush, and coming up like this, and coming up and lifting. And put it on one side of the brush, coming up and lifting. Now here's what's interesting. We've got a few petals coming down this way over this one. That's what makes this kind of cool. That's we've shift directions now. We've said that we've got some petals coming down this way over this one, kind of locking into this a bit. All right, and then we've got some coming up like this. And then up here in the middle, we've just got some, using quite a bit of paint now.
This one's going to take a while to dry.
Yeah, so we've got quite a bit of paint on that one now, right? And maybe just a touch of the little dark in the center here, just a touch. Particularly where they're coming over this way, kind of bending down. Might make it a little darker right there. So, okay, so far so good, yes and yes. And let's do a little bit more pink under here, let's just say that there's some pink flowers coming this way underneath here like that. Alright, and I want some brighter pink ones here too. I'm just going to say that there's something brighter right here. Do another layer on these. Okay, so far so good. Yes and yes. Now,
It's looking pretty primo so far.
yeah, when we put the green on, this is where it's really going to kind of pop up. Get out some reds here. I've got to play with something here. Here's some, let me get out a red. I don't want cadmium here. What do I want here? Naphtha crimson is just your primary red, right? Get out a little bit of that. And I want a little bit of this color here. Not very much. You can't, there's really no substitute for red. And then back under here too, I'm going to just
probably isn't a
suggest.
substitute for red. It's a primary color. What would you substitute it with? Green?
Well, that's exactly right. So
You can't do that.
yeah, so I've got a little bit of red there, and I want a little bit of red coming up from the base of this. Just a bit of red, just to add a bit more, right? Okay, and I want to put a little bit of red and blue together and make a, mostly red with a little blue, and I want a dark color right there. All right, so I'm now my last step is to put the green. All right.
I bet you have to dry.
Put all the green, but I have to dry it because this is all wet, right?
It's all wet red.
It's all wet red, and before I do that, I want to
All wet.
just pretty wet here. So now I'm being very careful with this. I'm just adding some white, barely touching it. Ooh. Barely touching it. All right, so you see that. Now let's dry that, and then we'll put the green. I think that'll just finish the painting, and it'll be really cool, right?
Looking good. All right, one more drying time. See if there's any other questions here I've missed. Delivery time to the UK is 2 to 4 weeks. That's about right. We're finally getting them stocked around the world. Monthly challenge. The monthly photo challenge is found on the beginneracrylicartist.com website. That is available for basic supporters and above memberships. Brenda says it needs a honeybee.
Brenda, that's not a bad idea. We could use a honeybee. I want to try something too. We have a little time, right? You guys bear with me. I want to try something. This is some titanium white now. We're going to do this and dry it, right like that. Okay, and I'm going to do that over here too. Just on this side, I'm going to dry it. I'm going to do some titanium white, and I'm going to dry it. And I want a little more titanium up here. And
apparently she has a plan.
I have a plan, you guys, and I want to see if it works. I think it'll work. Don't you think it should work?
I think if I'm thinking what you're going to do with it, it should work.
It should work, right?
It should work.
So,
but we're going to know.
We're going to know,
We're going to know here in a minute or two.
So let me dry the white, which
Go
is
for it.
already looking pretty good, right?
Don't dry anything but the white, just the white.
Well, yeah.
All right, yes, he does with that. We could try something new, something different. Let's see how many entrees we have for this marvelous piece. See what your odds are winning right now. Oh, they're under 300. Not very many people want this painting. That's interesting. I thought this would be a shoe-in, as it were. 273, 74, 75. 275 people. 276.
So we got a nice group out there today?
Oh, wait a minute. Let me.
Hanging out with us?
There you go. Now, what'd you say?
Do we have anybody hanging out with us?
No. No, we only have 500 souls out there today.
Oh, you guys. Well, thanks for coming. We
So,
appreciate
okay,
it.
so now what are you going
This
to do?
is satin glazing medium,
How do I know that?
and this is a clean dry brush.
How do I know
And
that?
this is a tiny bit of magenta with no white in it. And we're going to just
Make a
mix
glaze.
that like that.
Now, wait a second. Wait, where are you going to go first?
I'm going to go right there.
This first go. Hold on. Hold on. Wait.
Ready? Right
Now
there.
I'm ready.
I'm going to go over that. That.
Gives it a nice light little pink.
Yeah, I want it even a little bit darker than that. There you go. Now I'm going to go over that like that. Maybe come up over this white right here like that. I still have a light flower. Do you see that? I still have a light flower. But put a little of this glazing. Now I'm going to come over here and do the tip on this one. See, it's still pink. Still pink. But we said that's kind of, we put it, do you see how that sort of toned it down? And
But still kept the pink.
we still kept the pink, right? Now, I still like the, I still like the little bit of light right here on this flower. And if I do too much, look, if you do too much, then you lose your flower. Do you see that?
Yeah, it's gone.
So if you do too much, you have to be careful, because if you get too much glazing medium, you'll just lose it. So that's why you dry it. You know, that's why you want to dry all of this, because you don't want it too much. You just want it to tint it. Now, if you didn't have glazing medium, you can use water. You can use water, but the glazing medium allows you to do a thinner layer. Does that make sense? So now I'm going to come back here with my white and pink, right? And come over this, and that's just my last little one. A little bit lighter here anyway. I'm going to just come back over here like this.
Very
And
gently.
there's my next layer. Do you see how I did that? Just you can do layers, and you can glaze them back, and then do your next layer. There you go. Okay. So just a little. These are just tricks you can do that are kind of fun. Yes and yes. Now what we need to do next is let's see. Do we want any glazing medium on this right there? Just a touch, maybe on the base where that white is. There you go. All right. So what we want to do now is put the green. All right, and I think I'm pretty good, even though we've done some pink. I think we're okay. So we're going to start with a dark green, and we're going to do a stem. There were some stems in here, and I'm going to start like this, and just create a couple stems like that. Okay, so I wanted some stems, and then we'll go back up into our lighter colors. We want some really bright light greens, right? We're going to come back up here, and I want some lighter greens up here.
This does not have the ground medium on it.
No ground.
No absorbent ground.
No absorbent ground. Here we go, a little bit of green.
Pure
right?
acrylic magic.
Yeah, so now I want a few little bits of green. Here's a bright green color. A little bit of bright green here. The Holbeins have great greens in this. Not the Holbeins, but the Salvadors have wonderful greens. Maybe a little green, little leaf right there. And some that are coming under here like this. Put a little bit there. Now, there were some coming this way. Out the back of this one. This is why I like reference photos. It's nice when you don't have to make it up. There's a
reason to the madness.
Yeah, there's a stem right there, okay? And now I want some light green. So I don't want to disturb my stems. Do you guys know how to erase if you get too fat a stem? Do you know how to do that? Just rinse, white, swipe. You just take a clean brush, come next to this, and see how you can thin it down?
Skinny it
Rinse,
right up.
wipe, swipe. You just come next to it and kind of zzz, there, like that. So if you have trouble doing a thin line, make a fat one, erase it. One way. All right, let me dry that. Last time we dry, promise.
You sure?
I think so. And let's try drying that. Well, I'll tell you what. Instead of drying that, because I don't need it to dry that much, let me show you something else. I promised to show you something about frames.
You did?
Yeah, remember? Oh. So while that's drying, I'm going to show you something. This is a tutorial. I think we have it in the Academy. I don't think this was on YouTube, was it? This one I can't remember.
I don't think so. I think it's Academy lesson.
I think this is Academy lesson. It's some lemons, a pot, and some gladiolas. All right. And here's another painting that here's another Academy painting. These are 9 by 12. Here's one that's more in the dark colors. This is more of a what I would call. Remember, I talked about back east colors. Colors where you have a climate that's kind of dark and cold. These, that kind of thing. All right. So if you were going to frame these pictures, you're going to look. Now this is a shadow box frame from Jerry's Artorama, and how they work is your picture just goes in it, and you screw it in from the other side, and your picture goes in it like that. And it fits nicely, and it's an easy way to frame. But I want you to see the difference between this picture and this one. You see how beautifully this picture looks in this frame, because there's a lot of these dark tones. With a very bright pastel painting, didn't look as good. This painting would have looked better with some golds, maybe a gold frame because of the gold tones and the warm green tones. So when you're thinking about a frame, a couple of things you have to ask yourself is, if you're thinking, I was going to originally look at some frames on Amazon, and every time I got a review, I was shocked at what people didn't like, and I really read reviews, right? And so I've been buying frames from Jerry's for years. They don't pay me to say that. I just tell you where I buy stuff. And this is a beautiful quality frame. But I would, again, if you're doing dark tones, think about a darker frame. If you've got, think about your underlying colors before you pick a frame. Is that a good tip?
That's a great tip.
And you can see how pretty that looks. Now, all right, we're back here, and I think we can continue on and finish our painting. Kind of looks neat, though, doesn't it? Come on, I think it looks neat, yeah? All right, here's our little angle brushes.
Brush of choice.
Brush of choice. All right, so here I'm going to start with my angle brush and come up here and then push harder. Let's see, let's try a little bit of color. Kind of mix the colors a bit. There you go. Like that. I'm going to say that there's some leaves coming up the stem like this. Some coming off like that. A little dark green, a little bit of yellow in it. Now I'm going to add a little white to my green, make a little bit lighter one. Let's get something light up here. Okay.
Well,
how are we doing, John?
Doing fine. I got the Kindle to work. You have to use their new app.
Do what? To use what? The Kindle works, but you have to use...
The Kindle works, but if you use the Silk browser, it'll come up and it'll say you have to use our new app, and you just get the new app, and it works like a champ. I even typed in it, and I even said, I'm writing here from my Kindle, and it worked. So good to know. That's a little 10-inch Kindle I use. Well, Judy,
right.
People wanted to know.
Well, you know what? I think that kind of stuff's important.
So we don't do live shows on the off and off, whatever. I could go run and get it.
That, and like I say, we've got... All right, so there's our, that's our greenery on the leaves. And, I think that's kind of fun. Do you think that's, yes and yes? Just do a little bit more dark in here like that. And a little bit more of this bright pink. So that's where you can kind of go back and touch something up if you think you need to, but I think we're all pretty good here, yes and yes. So that, you guys, is our painting, and I'll show you real quick now. I want to show you real quick my reference from the picture of bright pink, and you see where we are. So I think that's kind of fun, right? So that's how we did these mums. We did them in, we did them gradually. We did them with.
Those are called asters.
Asters. Asters, yeah.
Aster.
Yeah.
Probably the mum family. They sort of look like it, don't they?
They look like. Well, the thing of it is that you'll often see these type of flowers on cake decorations, which are nummy when they're made out of real frosting. It's like my favorite flower on a cake, besides a rose, right? Just saying.
My favorite kind of frosting flower.
Frosting flower, anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and sign this right here. I hope you guys, had fun with this. We appreciate it if you haven't subscribed to our channel. Take a minute and do so. John, while I'm signing this, John's going to pick a winner for this painting, and also, and someone else is going to win a
Salvador paint
set. And you know what? We're going to give somebody else. I think we had enough donations in tonight to give somebody else a 2-month membership into our beginner acrylic academy for a couple months. Try us out. See what you think. Someone's going to win. We're going to have 3 drawings tonight because you guys are so awesome. Awesome.
Hey, we'd like to thank Elizabeth for the donation that came in through the PayPal system.
Ooh.
Thank you very much. Let's find our winner chicken dinner.
Sorry about the noise here, but we gotta.
Oh, we gotta shake it.
I kind of like this. I think this could be really pretty bigger. I think
it could.
I like it. It's just sort of it has a nice feel to it, doesn't it? This sort of pink. I also saw this done in blue, and I debated whether to do this blue or pink for you.
We chose pink tonight, if you can tell. See how many people we have. We have got 315.
Doop. How to use that Posca pen. Now, incidentally, Posca pens, I want to just show you my collection. Can I show you my collection real quick? Look at this. There's my collection of Posca pens. And I want you to see this color.
That's a pink color.
Look at it. You can spin these around to you. Look at that. See? Don't get dizzy, right? Here's my Posca pens. Now this, if you were having trouble with this, right? Here's a light pink and dark pink. You could do something like this. It's real acrylic paint. This is not cheating. I think there's a feeling that if you use a pen, it's cheating. It's paint in a pen tube. I found where they're also they have them in brushes. So let's just see what this color is. Aren't you curious? Here's this pink. So I'm going to just use a pink slash through the name here, because that's pretty. But look what a gorgeous pink that is, right? That's really pretty. And if you needed it, you could have it. So that's kind of cool, right? So I just want to say your Posca pens, if you're having trouble with little brush strokes, use the tools. It's not cheating when you're cooking to use the microwave.
Oh, that's good.
I think you got to kind of keep that analogy, right? So, and look how a little bit of this pink came through from the underpainting. See this beautiful bright pink right there? Could have left even a little more of that. It's pretty, huh?
That was a great underpainting.
So that was that great underpainting color. So again, someone's going to ask, well, what was the color here? This was the luminous rose from Holbein that made most of this color. I really couldn't quite get it with any kind of magentas or red, and that's a tough color to get. The other one they make is, where's the other color I've got? Oh yeah, this one is, luminous red. They make a luminous red, and they make this is almost like a stop sign, traffic stop, and that's just a little bright for me, but I think the luminous rose is a lovely color. You've seen me use it in a lot of paintings, and I think it's pretty. So, anyway, that's my 2 cents worth. Hope that was nice. Who's won, John?
This person right here, they are from Carson City.
Nevada?
How many Carson Cities are there? That's all they said.
Could be California.
City. Is it Carson City in California?
I don't know.
Well, why'd you say it?
Well, it sounded like there might have been. Could have been. Might have been.
There might be one in Illinois?
You think so?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, well, I have no idea. But anyway, congratulations. You guys, you won the painting. That's wonderful.
You want to,
What's the person's name?
that'd be, this is appropriate, Carolyn Bloom.
Carolyn Bloom. Well, wow. Good for you, Carolyn. Very nice.
Now let us go for the Salvador paint set.
Yeah, and I would get that for you. I'd like to show that set instead of the one. I mean, shall I get it? Is it right back there? Shall I just get up and get it? John will get it. John will go get it. You want to see what you're winning? Because this is neat. I mean, you get, it's really cool. That's very kind. Salvador's doing that. We're not, but they're doing that, and I think it's just very, very nice.
Very peachy of them.
Yeah. So this is what you get, you guys. You get this nifty. You get that, and you get this.
You get this piece of plastic. We're not really sure.
You get palette, and then you've got 12 brushes, premium brushes, right? And you start to use the little pointy ones, and then you get a big tube of white, a small tube of white, and then all these colors, and it's awesome. Too awesome. So anyway, that's what someone's winning tonight, and we wanted to share that with you. So, yes, that's it. Yeah.
Salvador
Right here.
paint.
So who won that, John?
This person here, they are from Sunnyvale, California.
Oh, there was a California. Maybe I was being psychic.
See, yeah, you're being psychic. I was going to say that.
Yeah, I think I'm being psychic here.
You're being psychic.
Oh, good. Look at the color wheel.
All right, so winner of the Sal. Oh, that's way too many M's in that winner.
Well, by the way, if you put a butterfly in here, you would take away from the flowers, unless you did it very, very small, because the flowers are the center of interest. If you put a bee or something, it has to be very tiny, because otherwise the picture becomes a bee.
Well, maybe you want to make the bee the honey. Oh, the bee the...
Well, then it would look odd, but that's my thing. But anyway.
All right, the winner of the Salvador is Lou de los Reyes. Lou de los Reyes, I think.
How do you spell that?
Was L-O-U space D-E space L-O-S space and then the last name, R-E-Y-E-S.
Wow, well, Lou, congratulations.
Lou de los Reyes. I think I'm saying that pretty close.
Where are they from, John?
That was Sunnyvale. Are you paying attention over there?
I lied. I forgot.
I know it's been all of what, 3 minutes?
It's coming back to me. I feel, I knew I felt a psychic moment of California coming in, right? But then, okay, so all right, congratulations, Lou. Now we need one more drawing for the person that's going to win the beginner Acrylic Academy.
And that is a person from Kentucky.
Kentucky. I don't think we've sent anything to Kentucky ever, have we, John?
Well, we have sent things to Kentucky.
Have we? Okay.
But,
well, I'm not the person to ask anything tonight, huh?
Well, you're doing fine, my queen.
I don't know. I like the picture. I'm telling you what. I think the picture's nice. I like the picture.
Of 2 months in Ba.
Yeah.
Is this person.
What is this person?
I have to wait.
We have a time delay. So if we say
so
the name,
even when I say it, people still get freaked out about it.
Yeah.
Because I write it and then words come out like 3 minutes later.
So he has to write it first and then say it? Because
I should say it the other way around. But then they'd say, well, I should try that. Okay, the winner of this one is Brenda Yates.
Brenda Yates. All right. Congratulations, Brenda. For 2 months in Beginner Acrylic Academy, we have over 50 tutorials on that. It also gives you access to all our Quarantine Quickies. And remember, if you watch any of our YouTube videos through the Acrylic Academy, the Beginner Acrylic Academy, you guys, if you watch any of them through there, there's no ads in them. When John downloads them from there, there's no ads. There's just ads when you're watching them from
on YouTube.
So just a thought.
Yeah, we don't
right?
control the ads.
We have no control over what they do with the ads. If we allow ads, which we need to do to put a light on or two, doesn't do much. We allow the ads, and they've gone a little nuts lately. We're sorry about that, but that's what they do. Is YouTube. You can write them.
Okay, so what we've got is all the winners have been elected. If you're still out there, please use to contact us, and I need mailing addresses for the winners that are getting product, and the one that's getting a membership, just send me your info and I'll set you up. Anything else, my queen?
No, listen, we'll see you guys Thursday. You know, we just, I guess my question is, are you still feel like, you know, it's been a few months in this quarantine. Are you still feeling like painting? I mean, you're still loving painting, and, you know, what can we do to brighten your spirits?
There you go. All right, everybody, we'll see you Thursday, 5:30 Central Time, right here on YouTube. Bye, everyone.